hardest, man. Detroit versus everybody, man. Detroit, we rep the hardest, man. We gain the hardest. You know what it is, man. Detroit, CJ, holla at your boy when we get home.
Make sure to check out our sponsor, Cell Phone Buyers Recyclers. They want to buy your cell phone, old, broken, or you're just trying to get rid of it. You can contact them right at the number on the screen, text or call. Also, their social media and website is in the description if that's more convenient. If you share their social media accounts on social media, get a chance to win an iPhone. Go check them out. Let's talk some Canelo Alvarez, but before that, let's talk about Jermell Charlo saying that he's ready for Jeison Rosario. Kind of give my premise on that fight, what I think about it. But hit the subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. We on the boxing tip right now. And yeah, Jermell Charlo said the PBC podcast that he want Rosario, he want all the smoke. But then again, he says that he doesn't pick his fights. So when you don't pick your fights, you don't have no creative control over your career. I ain't really listening to what you saying. All right, what Pimp C saying? You saying you a boss? We ain't believing that shit. You got the funny Geneva watch with the Ferrari kick. Take that monkey shit off. You embarrassing us. So at the end of the day, you don't control your career. It ain't about what you want or what you need. It's about what Al Heyman wants to do. All right. So when these boxers come out here and say I'm my own boss, but then turn around and say call Al, get some groceries, call Al and all that, it ain't about what he want. It ain't about what he need. It ain't about nothing. You don't have creative control over your career. So let me say that first off. Of course, you're gonna tell us what you want to do, but the fact of the matter is, you apply for a voluntary defense to take on Erickson Law from the WBC. You know, then Erickson Lubin is going to be named your mandatory again. He said that he really ain't concerned about fighting Lubin because that's moving backwards. But Lubin is about to be your mandatory again. So you got to say all this stuff instead of getting to the X's and O's about boxing. You can't just do that no more. You know, you got to kind of get a business aspect of it. And it's sad because 10 years ago when I started YouTube shit, might not 10, 8 years ago, I started YouTube. I wasn't talking about no business. We was talking about throwing them hands. But he don't control his career. And it ain't about what Jermell Charlo want. They said, PBC basically told, you know, behind the scenes that they want to make Rosario and Charlo first because they didn't have so many upsets happen at the 154-pound division. And overall, on the PBC side of the street, they said they want to make that fight. But then again, Rosario got an IBF mandatory, and the IBF don't take step-aside money. Now, there are rare occasions where the IBF say, you know what, we're going to let this happen. Like when Ndongo tried to mess up, Lipias tried to mess up Undisputed for Ndongo and Terrence Crawford. That's one of the rare times that the IBF stepped aside. So that's what people got to truly understand. You know, it's business to this. He don't control his career. He don't own the rights to his career. You know what I'm saying? He sold his soul to the devil. So whatever Al tell him to do, this is him admitting this. He got to do. But seeing that fight with no fans in the all these fights they talk about, you know, Mikey talking about the welterweights, people talk about what Errol gonna do, what Terrence gonna do, what Wilder Fury gonna do. They gotta wait to put fans in the stands. Because they're not gonna do this fight without the gate. The gate is how they pay the fighters. Some of these fighters, these overinflated wages. They get a percentage of the concessions, they get a, you know, they get a percentage of the, you know, the parking tickets sometimes. So this is how they pay their bills. So the gate is a huge part. Now a lot of times they give away a lot of tickets. You know, but I don't think for regular TV fights, I don't think they're gonna do a lot of big fights. And that's my opinion on it. I don't think they're gonna do a ton of big fights out the gate. You're gonna see a lot of mismatches warming up because you got fighters that's out of shape. For every fighter you see training, there's probably 20 fighters that ain't going as hard as they can. And then also you got fighters that's cycling off of pads, and then, you know, they cycling off of pads getting ready to come back right now. So the WBC said they about to implement their testing again. But to actually look at that fight, Rosario got a chance. If he fought like he did with J-Rock and kind of, you know, polish up, you know, his defense a little bit and roll with a little bit more shots to kind of move his head, The only issue here is Charlo got 3 inches longer reach. That's the only issue. You know, and Charlo can match his physicality and reach. He a big, strong guy too. But what Rosario brings to the table is that Rosario can pressure the fighter, and Jermell has struggled with a lot lesser fighters. He struggled with John Jackson. He struggled with a past his prime Austin Trout. He struggled with Tony Harrison, which a lot of you guys seen as a gatekeeper or a journeyman contender. So when people talk about Jermell Charlo being the best 54-pounder, I agree, but it ain't that much separation. He don't have supreme talent. If you pressure the Charlo twin and you keep putting pressure on him, you keep him moving back and keep him on the back foot, you know what I'm saying? He can be broken mentally. You know how you say Spence said the other day that, you know, Porter and Crawford or Porter and Floyd can't be mentally broken but physically broken? It's the opposite with Charlo. You probably won't physically break Charlo because he's such strong, he in shape, he got gas, he's a tremendous, you know, physical specimen. He got the jaw, all that. But mentally you can break him. And that's where him and Ronnie Shields bumped heads. When Vanez kept applying that pressure, when John Jackson kept applying that pressure on him, and once you keep him thinking, you get him thinking and moving back, he has lapses. He has lapses. You know, and when I say he got lapses, man, you can take advantage of it. If Rosario can be mentally strong enough and he can hold his position like he did with J-Rock, and he can keep Charlo on them ropes and going backwards, he'll dominate Charlo. He probably can get Charlo to quit. He really could. He probably can get Charlo to tap out. Charlo ain't fought nobody, bro. He ain't fought nobody, bro. And a lot of the lesser competition or lesser ops that he done fought, he didn't struggle with. Anybody that can get him moving backwards and keep that pressure on him, that's why Ronnie was cussing him out. If you let him get on the front foot and dictate real estate, you're probably gonna lose. Unless you can outbox him. You got them Tony Harrison skills and hit not be hit. But if Rosario can keep that heat on him and pressure him, you know, he can beat Charlo too. He can match his physicality, he can match his strength, he can match his power. You know, and that Rosario was in shape. He was in the halfway house as far as training. So it's gonna be a tremendous fight. I would favor Jermell in that fight because he got more experience, but you know, Rosario ain't no slouch on himself. He did get knocked out by Gallimore. You know, Gallimore can punch, but he did also fight guys like Gallimore. He fought the Adrian Broner fighter, who a big Jamonte Clark, who a big fighter. So he been in there and he been in them wars. But I probably favor Mel because I always like to favor experience. But if Rosario can keep the pressure on Charlo, it wouldn't surprise me if he made him tap and made him his little bitch. But he got a mandatory first, so we'll see if they can work around that mandatory with the IBF. I doubt it, but you know, it's a tremendous fight. But I wouldn't hold my breath on that fight. That fight ain't gonna happen until fans get back in the stands. That could be 2020, 2021. Who fucking knows? But they said a vaccine may not be ready till 2021. So you can be looking like you could be seeing the quarantine coming back as soon as the winter season come and when the cold come back. So, but you know, I got word that Canelo is no longer fighting Billy Joe Saunders. He's probably gonna fight Golovkin when he come back. I don't know. That's what they told me, but I heard Golovkin don't want that fight because he want to get a tune-up with Camille Zamata, and he had a strain. You know, he strained his calf, and Victor Conti kicked him out of snack. I don't know why. I guess for being lazy, but you know, Billy Joe Saunders, Eric Gomez been saying was no contract signed, nothing was finalized. So now Billy Joe Saunders gotta slide to the left, slide to the right. He gotta go find some more ops to fight. You got Danny Jacobs talking about fighting Callum Smith after fighting Rosado. So, you know, it should be popping at 168 pounds. Had some people ask me why Demetrius Andrade didn't revisit fighting Billy Joe Saunders. He did. They even ran into each other at the airport, and Billy Joe Saunders didn't want that fight. That's why he tried to shoot that shit up his nose and in his ass. He didn't want to fight Demetrius Andrade. Andrade said he wouldn't go up to 68 and fight Billy Joe Saunders. So as far as Canelo, he ain't gonna be fighting Billy Joe no more. He probably looking at Golovkin, Ryota, Murata, and guys of that nature. And I don't care what Canelo do. It's just impossible to beat him under these circumstances, and it's gonna take somebody to have a Frankie Randall type of performance to beat Canelo Alvarez. It's gonna, you know, either it's gonna be him fluctuating through weight classes that's gonna get him like Roy Jones, or it's just gonna be, you know, he get old overnight. But you know, it's a lot going on with Canelo. as far as the judges, the commissions, the drug testing. It's being said that he no longer in VADA 365, so you're not going to be able to touch Canelo Alvarez. So if you do fight him, you know, make sure you getting career high money. You know what I'm saying? If Billy Joe was going to get, you know, what, 5 to 7 to fight Demetrius Andrade or whatever the purse was, and then he's going to get 7 to 8 million to fight Canelo, you might fight Andrade because you got a better chance of winning. You know, but this just the game we in boxing. You know, you gotta, you know, if you can't punch, you ain't gonna beat Canelo. And all his fights is super duper close for the most part, most of them. Even before Kovalev took that swimming board dive, that was a close fight. Some people had Kovalev up. So, you know, some people thought Danny Jacobs' fight was close. I thought he beat Danny Jacobs wide. I thought the Golovkin fight, second one, was beat him wide. But I don't know. But with Billy Joe, you know, he ain't that good of a fighter. He had one good performance, and that's when he put the Beast by Dre on who was that? Demetrius. I mean, not Demetrius, but Dave Lemieux. That was his best performance. Other than that, Arthur Kova sucked. Chris Eubanks was a sloppy performance. His last performance on that YouTube undercard was a sloppy performance. So, you know, I ain't too impressed with the guy. You know, he a solid fighter, but he ain't what they make him out to be honest. You know, not without that shit in his nose. But for Canelo, he can do whatever you want to do. It's been somebody told me there's rumors that the DAZN want to break his contract, and they probably do got outs in his contract because he's not bringing a return. I don't believe he sold out one time, you know, fighting on his own. People, they say that Rocky Fielding fight was a sellout. They gave away 5,000 tickets. This is what you don't know. They give away tickets, they buy them, and they give them away. Eddie Hearn buy them and resell them. Al Heyman buy them and give them away. Oscar De La Hoya probably buy them and give them away. That's why Vegas want Floyd to come back so bad, because he the only dude that really come there and sell out no matter who he fight, or come close to selling out or pack the house. Canelo ain't really generating no money in Vegas like that. He don't bring the multicultural crowd out. Floyd bring the brothers out, the Mexicans out, the whites out. Canelo only bring the Mexicans out for the most part. So that's the problem. That's the problem with Canelo not speaking English. That's a huge, huge problem. You know, that's why the American fans, casual fans, don't really care about Canelo because he don't speak English. But for him, he can't speak English because then it'd be like he's selling out. So I get it. But yeah, Canelo not fighting old boy no more, Billy Joe no more, unless something change. I heard he going to a Golovkin fight. That always can change. But hey, do appreciate everybody for checking in. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. Other than that, man, we'll make a donation, Cash App, PayPal in the description. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. All those links there. If you got business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video requests, keep sharing the videos. Y'all know what the business is. One time for the one time. We done.